with that, week 4 rolls into the stockyards. It's the first time in SFL history the OKC Renegades and the Fort Worth Toros have met in SFL lore or in any SFL game. Chris Curtis along with Stephen Mullinex for the first time in what seems like eons. Stephen, welcome back to the booth. How are you, sir?
Thank you, sir. Yes, I'm wonderful and great to be here and spending a little time with you, watching the greatest game on earth here, a little SFL football. And can't wait for these two teams who have ironically never met before, and they're going to have their little premiere clash tonight. And, you know, going into this game, OKC 1-1, coming into Fort Worth, who's an 0-2 team. So a lot to prove on both sides. And we're going to see if we can get it on tonight. And one of these teams is going to walk away with the victory. And it's all about the story in between that and the final score.
I like it. I like it. Yeah, 0-2 Fort Worth, not exactly starting out the way they want to. OKC gets as many wins as they did the entirety of last season in the first couple of weeks, so they will look to try to build upon that. OKC is going to start with the football. The Toros have it on the tee, and we are underway from the stockyards as the Renegades start out at about the 15-yard line, return to the 25 to the 31-yard line, and that is where the OKC offense, led by King Jackson, is going to get things started out.
Well, kind of unusual to see a tight end actually be a returner here in this league.
Yeah.
And there's Jonathan Kilgore able to bring the ball back. So, you know, doing some unconventional things, OKC is to try and get in the win column. It worked for him early in this season. Let's see if it works for him here.
So speaking of unconventional, Jonathan Kilgore, Tiberius Bovine, and Stephen McMichaels. We'll talk about the tight ends first, and then we'll go to the wide receivers after this particular first down snap. Jackson backs up, throws right side, incomplete. Nice hit. Well timed just before the ball got there. Good defensive play by Aiden Davis, the corner.
Yeah, and really making a statement right out of the box here. King Jackson throwing to a very tight window, but Aiden Davis able to knock it away early. I'd like to see that early contact, Curtis.
Trio of wide receivers, Dallas Sanders, Christian Bachkalupi, and Queen Jackson for the Renegades. King Jackson has to hurl a blocker, but gets away and gets a run forward for a first down to the 45-yard line. Utilizing those legs, making things happen on the second effort.
Yeah, you got to love the mobility in the pocket. And look, this is a team that has struggled on the offensive line to protect their quarterback. But in that particular case, a nice rollout, recognition by Jackson, and just a wide open lane to the right where there was no defender. Really lucky to find that and get that first down.
Yeah, that worked really, really well. It was good. That was fun to see. Jackson on first down over the middle. That one's going to hit the helmet of the defender and hit the turf harmlessly. Davis again with another PD on that, make it 2nd and 10.
One of the key aspects of this game, Chris, is that both of these teams have struggled to run the ball. And while I think it's been successful for OKC, particularly getting their first win against Minnesota, you got to be able to run in the red zone, I think, to really have sustained success.
First or 2nd and 10 for OKC. 2 to the left. They'll move 1 into motion. Looks like a 4-3 look on defense for Fort Worth. I formation. Jackson over the middle. That one's caught and well grabbed over the first down marker. And if McMichaels was able to turn that upfield, he might have been still running in for the end zone.
And this is Jackson's favorite target here, Stephen McMichael, as a guy that he is really keyed on early into this season. Last game had 12 receptions for 73 yards and a touchdown in a loss to Detroit.
Still moving forward. Jackson, quick throw on top, and it's picked off. Fort Worth forces the turnover. Oklahoma City has only given up their 2nd turnover of the season so far, and Fort Worth's the beneficiary.
Yeah, and Fort Worth's cornerbacks making a statement early. We talked about Aiden Davis knocking a pass away earlier. Now on the other side, Adam Leach comes away with the interception. Look, if you're OKC, you live by the sword and you die by the sword. If you're going to be a primary passing team, you're going to have to survive some of these takeaways, and your defense is going to go a long way in helping you do that.
And then Eric Price comes out trying to lead his team to a first win in season 25. I formation for him here. 2 to the left, 1 to the right, as he has it under center. Hand off, a quick little shimmy, gets them no yards on that, handing it off to Gent Zero. Jay-Z Bacon's the other halfback. Aaron Alexander, the fullback. Henry McGee, Hunter Jacobs, Nick Fritchie, and Stephen Hacker, your quartet of wide receivers for Fort Worth. And then RGJ, Robert Garrett Jr., the tight end, the SFL veteran, the Wiley veteran, who's been, he's been here a lot of seasons now.
Yes, he has.
Looking to throw this, moves around the corner, out of the pocket, takes off. Couple of mobile quarterbacks and a lot of room to go all the way into OKC territory to the 42-yard line.
Well, Chris, I mentioned their rushing roads. Well, that's a running back. A quarterback, take a look at the wheels on this guy. He had a lot of time in the pocket, still able to recognize nobody was open, and then finds a nice little lane wide open there between defenders, able to get down and stay safe. You know, one of the things that I worry about mobile quarterbacks is they could get injured, and that really hurts a game plan. But there, works out perfectly.
Eric Price putting the wheels underneath him, getting him going to the 42-yard line in Renegade territory. Price will throw over the middle and a one-handed snag on a fastball over the middle by Stephen Hacker. He's done that for a lot of seasons now. First down in the field goal territory.
Yeah, the top offensive playmaker from last week's loss against Houston. Hacker's been a big name in this league for a long time. 10 receptions, 146 yards, and a touchdown last week. And Price's favorite target. We're seeing these favorite targets getting these targets early here, and they're coming through so far.
See if Fort Worth can get themselves on the board, well in field goal range at this point. It'll be a 42-yarder if they needed to from here. This will be a handoff and nothing doing on the handoff through the middle as the linebacker comes up to make the play, and that would be Aaron Gooden in the middle.
Fort Worth had some rushing woes last week. Bacon only had 57 yards on 21 carries. Jet Zero, 26 yards on 17 carries. Low yard per carry average.
I get something going in the rushing game. Another shimmy and a couple more yards given, and that will be at least something as Jay-Z Bacon has 3 yards there. Make it 3rd and 7. And a chance for Fort Worth to extend this drive. First third down we've seen from these guys on this drive. 4 wide. Showing 4, sending 4 over the middle. That's caught down to the 7-yard line, down to the 5-yard line. And it's Stephen Hacker one more time. It's 1st and goal.
You know, Chris, I've always liked the number 88. That I don't know why. I've always liked it because I think it just makes a really great target. All you got to do as a quarterback, put the ball between the 8s. There's Price able to do so. Actually, Hacker doing a great job of shielding off the defender, like in the NBA, rebounding, he blocking off that defender, and giving his quarterback just a nice open window.
About the 4.5-yard line, Fort Worth trying to strike first. Split backs look 2 to the right. This will be a handoff through the middle. Nothing doing there as Jet Zero is actually Jet Zero stopped in his tracks, and that is 2nd and goal.
And big tackle by Thomas Rahman Jr. They're doing a good job of stuffing these rushing lanes. And this is what we talked about. Running in the red zone is so important and key to winning in this league. And Fort Worth has got to be successful doing it.
That's through the middle again. They'll gain a yard out of that, but no further than that. Get it down to the 4. And this creates a key 3rd down as Bacon is stopped. Expect they're going to have to throw this.
Yeah, Rahman Jr., Brady Clark, just filling those lanes. As you can see, there was just nowhere to run. There was 3 defenders in the spot in the lane that was supposed to be open.
Split backs looking to throw it. Got to get rid of it. Can turn the corner. He's in. That's a touchdown for Fort Worth. It was close, but they made it happen. Christian Bachagalupi.
Let's absolutely love this play. A jumbo type formation there in the splits, able to roll out of it, find the open receiver in between the linebacker and the cornerback, and it was just a perfectly executed play. You gotta love that. And despite it not being a run, still able to get into the end zone, but they took it all the way down to 3rd down to do it.
They did, and they got the fullback involved to get it done. Aaron Alexander, the one who received that touchdown. And a 9-play drive ends in pay dirt for Fort Worth as they get the first points on the board. That's exactly what Fort Worth wanted as they try to search for their first win.
Yeah, I love it too, getting that fullback involved. And look, they've got so many weapons, right, on the offense. And normally the fullbacks in our league, they do kind of actually shine as pretty good running backs at times, but they're mainly blockers for the running back, right?
Yeah.
But when you can get those kind of guys, the hard helmet guys out there making touchdowns like that, it excites the entire team.
Yeah, gotta have those hard hat type of guys right in the middle there to get those blocks. And it's nice to see one of them get a score every once in a while. Jonathan Kilgore on the return. OKC out for their second possession of this football game. First one ended in a rather abrupt interception after OKC was doing some good things on offense. See if they can turn the corner here on this second drive. But yeah, good stuff by Fort Worth. Let's see if OKC has an answer.
And didn't run the ball outside of a quarterback scramble in the last series. Only ran the ball 7 times in their last game. So I wonder if they're going to change things up and try to run the ball at all.
Richard Powers, Tom Rahman, your running backs for OKC. That's going to be a quick throw. I believe that was Michaels on the catch, and it was. So not much there, but it's something. Should make a 2nd and 7.
Yeah, and that's basically the equivalent of a run there. Just gets you in a nice 2nd down and 7 situation, just kind of give you a little bit more yards. But so far, they've been really committed to the pass. Let's see if they do it again.
Throw over the middle. That one's caught. That is a post route coming from the left, and that is Bacigalupi there on his first grab, making it a 1st and 10 near midfield.
Well, there's a reason OKC leads the SFL in passing yards. They're very committed to it. And as you can see, between the 20s, I think they find a lot of success because they have so much yardage to cover. Once you start getting down into the red zone, though, that defense collapses. The yardage starts to shrink down, and that's where they've had their issues.
Jackson, throw right side, a little bit of a crossing pattern there, gets them a couple of yards. They'll say 1, make it a 1-yard gain, as that was Spicoli who came up to make the stop and McMichaels. I mean, talk about the pass versus run, Steven. And OKC to this point in the game has not run the ball 1 time. So that gives you everything you need to know about their commitment to the air game.
Yeah, and that's true. And I think you do have to sprinkle it in at least a little bit to give him something out. What a catch.
Yeah, no kidding. What a grab that was, as that was Tiberius Bovine who got up with his hands in the air and was able to bring that ball down in double coverage. What a catch.
And, it's rare to have a player that plays 23 seasons in the league, Chris, and that's Bovine in his 23rd season. I mean, you talk about, quarterbacks in the NFL like Brady going into their 40s or whatever. I don't necessarily see a lot of tight ends doing that.
Over the middle, right side as well. Another one for Bovine, and they have them well within field goal range at this point. 1st and 10 as they enter the red zone.
And we see this in the SFL, right? We see where a quarterback in just a series maybe, and that might be the only looks he gets. I'm sure he's going to get more looks in this game, but sometimes in a series, a quarterback and a receiver will just connect, and they'll just continue to go back to it over and over and over again.
1st and 10. I formation, 2 to the left. Handoff coming. Their first rush of the game gets them a couple of yards. It's not much there, but it's something as they find their halfback, Tom Rahman, for the first time today.
And I think you got to mix those in. Like, as much as you do want to pass the ball, you've got to give defensive coordinators something to think about. It's not just have to go in there and just play pass only.
And Jackson, right side, nearly intercepted in triple coverage, looking for Bacigalupi, and that's going to hit the hands of the defender and find its way to the ground. Ben Charbs with the near interception.
We go back, Chris, about talking about OKC in the running game. They're paying their running back, Tom Rahman, $3.4 million. That's the 16th most in the league. You want to utilize those monies.
Chance for Jackson. It's incomplete. Hit the defender in the back. That was nearly a big-time problem. Creates a 4th down and an upcoming field goal for OKC.
And what a great job by Gordon. That is the definition of blanket coverage. He was all over him, and not, not in a pass interference type way. He just really was blocked the ball with his back, as you said.
Judah Dorgan puts this one up, hooks it back inside the uprights, makes it a 7-3 ball game. 9-play drive, and the right-footed Dorgan from in between the hash marks makes it a 4-point deficit. So good stuff for OKC. They're able to come down and at least get some points on the answer. May not have been the full points that they wanted, but they'll take what they can get against a good Fort Worth defense. See what Fort Worth has.
Yeah, and look, I think both of the teams are struggling to run the football. You can see a commitment to running the football from Fort Worth. where it seems to be kind of an afterthought with OKC. I think that's one of the reasons why they're in the lead. And I think we're just going to continue to see Fort Worth continue to pound the rock, even when they're not having success, because they just want to wear that defense out, right? And get to a point where they can not only wear the defense out, but win that time of possession game as well.
Henry McGee on the return gets it back out to the 25-yard line. And your total yards, they're fairly even, just a 15-yard deficit right at the moment, 77 yards for OKC. And Fort Worth about to eclipse that on their now second possession in theory. I formation, 2 to the right. 4-3 look on defense for OKC, showing some blitz. They'll send a couple, and it'll be Jay-Z Bacon who gets up the field just a little bit. 2nd and 5, they'll take that. That's their best run of the night.
Clearly, Fort Worth came out with a game plan of thinking, we want to attack the middle of this defense. Let's just pound the rock right down the A gap here.
Yep.
And let's just see what we can get and grind it out.
Offset I formation. They'll move Hacker out wide. See what he can do out there. Another 4-3 look. Pitch play left side. Has some extra blocking. Nothing doing. But, I mean, the continued commitment to the run game will bear fruit eventually. You just got to keep doing it and keep wearing out the defensive line.
Well, and then part of it is, the personnel that you're going up against. And so if you kind of look at OKC's roster on defense, they're a little softer on the defensive line. And I think that's one of the things that you want to attack as an offensive coordinator.
Don't tell them that, though.
They know it.
Don't tell them they're softer. 3 yards to get for the first down. Chance right side for Price, and that is caught. Moved Hacker on the other side of the formation, caught him in motion, crosses body, first down.
Well, typically, Chris, you don't want to throw across your body like that, but when you've got a guy like Hacker, number 88, out there ready to catch it, and you feel so comfortable with him, and good wide open lane as well. The defender did a great job of being on top of that tackle. If he doesn't do his job, isn't able to make that open field tackle, Hacker might have scored.
1st and 10 for Fort Worth. They're getting closer and closer to midfield with 1:16 to go in this first frame of play. 2 to the left, 1 to the right. Handoff, broken tackle from from Jay-Z Bacon, and that is going to be a 3-yard gain, so not a lot there.
I think very two distinct, different offensive styles here going up against each other, but really consistent defensive playing on both sides.
Yeah, it's been a defensive struggle so far, even with the 10 total points in the first quarter. Heavy set look, I formation, and a near first down. Not quite all the way there. 3rd and inches as Jet Zero gets real close. And I think, honestly, if I'm Fort Worth, I'm running this right up the middle.
I agree. If they've got a QB sneak in the playbook, I'd probably be thinking about something like that. You're just so close. But look, you've got some big horses back there you could certainly utilize.
If you can't get a half yard in the SFL, what are you actually doing? Pitch play, left side, got the first down and then some. That's a move, and a broken tackle. Gets past 2 would-be tacklers and gets Bacon downfield, 1st and 10.
Chris, I thought a toss to the outside in that situation was gutsy, but they just thought that Oklahoma City defense is going to really try to stuff the middle, so they go to the outside. Absolutely works, but the playbook only goes so far. Bacon really makes that play with those 2 broken tackles right there, despite already being past the first down marker. That's that individual effort you love to see.
First quarter is done. It is a 7-3 ball game. Fort Worth out in front, out in the stockyards. It's the SFL on the Virtual Football Network. Chris Curtis, Stephen Mullinex with you in the broadcast booth. Welcome to those of you spending your evening with us. Thanks for letting us in your living room and spending your evening with us for sure. As Eric Price comes back out on the field, moving left to right across your screen, just about in field goal range, if not already. Fort Worth trying to do some damage. Throw over the middle. That one's caught down to the 12-yard line. And that is going to put Hacker in a good position for his squad. Make it 1st and 10.
Hacker's catching everything that's thrown to him out here on a little post route in between the defenders. Does a great job. Price does a great job of really targeting where Hacker can get that ball in between the defenders. He knows that he's got a guy in Hacker who's athletic enough to go up and get it and bring it down despite the contact.
Handoff through the middle, trying to find a lane, gets a few. In fact, they're going to give him 4 yards for that, Jay-Z Bacon. Good work from him as he gets it closer down to the 8-yard line.
Chris, don't you feel like we're starting to see the benefits of pounding the rock here for Fort Worth? They just struggled a bit to get the ball going, but now things are starting to loosen up a little bit, and they're starting to see those rushing lanes open up.
Dividends are starting to come in. This is going to be a handoff right side. Jet Zero going to work around the corner, try to get to the pylon. He cannot get there. Make it 3rd and 1. Great pursuit to the ball defensively, and they have a chance for a goal line stand.
Jet Zero, man, that stiff arm was a little early. If he had just put it out, the timing was a little bit better. That's probably a touchdown. But still, the fact remains the running game is starting to turn it up.
Heavy set look, 3rd and 1. Handoff, left side, Bacon trying to sizzle. He at least gets the first down. It's 1st and goal.
And look, this is what we've been talking about, you know, establishing the running game early, but also, man, it's so important in the red zone. It not only takes up time off the clock, but it reduces the amount of potential takeaways that can happen through the air.
Just got to run it 3 straight times here. Even if they don't get it, run it 3 straight times. Got to find it. Left side, Jet Zero trying to get to the end zone. He will not. 2nd and goal.
Yeah, there was just, man, the toss out to the left, and there were just a lot of defenders out there. Great block on the first initial one, but then asking a running back to break 2 tackles to get into the end zone. Not impossible, pretty tough.
We saw it happen earlier, but 1 time out of 7.
Yeah.
Through the middle, Jay-Z Bacon again gets stopped. 3rd and goal. Maybe then they try something else, but we'll see. 3rd and goal coming up.
Yeah, and Sebo Kanan, man, that was just a terrific opportunity there for a goal line stand. Actually, that was Yanada that was able to get that out on the outside. But, man, this is a great stand by this OKC defense.
Here we go. Pitch right side. Jet Zero cannot get there. He is slammed on his back. What a play. 4th and goal, and the goal line stands tall for OKC.
Good Lord, Sabo with the power bomb. I mean, that was an absolute beast of a tackle.
Cover
and
that
what
man
a
and
goal
count
line
to
stand.
100.
Absolutely.
Kick is up, and it is good for the field goal, making it a 10-3 game as Sophia Peaches puts it up and through. And so Fort Worth, they don't get the touchdown out of it, but they at least get some points, make it a touchdown game again.
And Chris, they did exactly what you asked them to do. 3 straight runs. It makes sense. If you can't get those 2 or 3 yards to get into the end zone, running it back to back to back, you're probably not going to have a lot of success here in the SFL. But we can't dismiss the outstanding defensive effort there by OKC.
Completely correct there. Renegades get it back up to the 26-yard line. And so here comes OKC one more time as they're going to try to tie this game up. 7:02 left in this 2nd quarter of play from the Stockyards in Fort Worth. Renegades have it for their 3rd possession. I formation, 2 to the right, 1 to the left. And it looks like a nickel look on defense for the Toros. Quick throw from Jackson. That's not much. We've seen that play a couple times. McMichaels with a quick 2-3 yard reception. Make it 2nd and 8.
Despite the goal line stand, I still like Fort Worth's game plan. I think it still will pay off for them. But the thing about OKC that I've noticed, I always think they have a puncher's chance because of how heavy they rely on that passing offense. At any point, they can get back into a game.
That's a handoff through the middle / left side. And that is going to be a decent one going forward. And that'll make a 3rd down manageable for OKC's offense.
It'll be interesting to see where they go here. If they're going to try to run it or they're going to try to throw it here on 3rd and 3. It's one of those that in betweens, you just never know.
Halfway through the 2nd quarter, we have not seen a punt as of yet. Jackson going to try to continue that streak. Throw to the right side. That one's incomplete. Got it hit out of his hand. McMichael's trying to put that paw out there and snag it. Didn't work. 4th down coming, and OKC will knock it away.
I think it's a great play call. I think you got to bring that in if you're McMichael. Rolling the quarterback out and getting him in really no pressure at all and finding his target relatively open. Just can't bring it in. Got to do that.
And that'll give Fort Worth a chance to make this a 2-possession ball game. That's returnable. Good play from McGee. He's going to get around the corner here at the 50. Does he have the legs? Down the sideline. He's going to get all the way home. Henry McGee gets home on the touchdown.
Absolutely insane speed. You know, when drafted McGee here and fix it. All the big hype was about his speed. His speed. He's the fastest guy in the draft. And this is what they envisioned when they brought him into Fort Worth. Despite having a guy like Stephen Hacker already on the team, this guy can make a difference in so many different ways. And here, the electricity, the lightning in his feet really is what made the difference on that return.
That was his big come out when he was with the SFLM with Chicago, I do believe, was his speed. There was a lot talked about that, along with his personality. He's been a really good fit here in Fort Worth, and he makes another big-time lightning strike play here as Peaches is going to put the extra point through and to make it a 17-3 ball game. OKC in a bit of a rut right now, and they really need an answer and would prefer to get one before halftime.
But I think, Chris, their game plan offensively, it's kind of perfect for this situation, right? Because they're going to want to throw and get back. You know, some teams come in with a very conservative game plan and they can't bust it. They can't break out of it.
It's going to be a return from Jackson. Queen Jackson comes up with the return back to the 27-yard line. So OKC's offense going to be back out onto the field in the 17-3 ball game. For OKC, the best you can do is not panic here. Stick to the game plan, get something downfield, make it a one-possession game.
Yeah, you know, this is a different team than the team that won only one game last season. But they won their first game of this season. That's a big statement. So this is it's not the same. This is not the same group, not the same coaching necessarily. They've learned, they've adjusted, they've grown. And so they've got to take this opportunity here to utilize that game plan they came into the game with.
Oh, they sent an all-out blitz at the running back, and he was nowhere to be found after he was put into the dirt. What a play by Fort Worth's defense.
And so unlucky for OKC in the sense that they've been passing for a lot of this game, and the one play that they may be able to catch something down the field for a long score, they've got a run playing.
2nd and 14 after the 4-yard loss. King Jackson will throw right side, and that is caught. First down and more. They get the catch from Tiberius Bovine, his 3rd catch of the game.
We saw that connection earlier in this game, and now they're on a longer plays. Not necessarily tight ends are really known for making these deep, long plays, but that's been successful. That connection between him and Bovine has been almost perfect tonight.
1st and 10 for OKC. 2 to the right, 1 to the left, 2 in the backfield. It's a nickel look on defense for Fort Worth, trying to keep the run game at bay, but there hasn't been a lot of run to go with OKC's offense so far. And another pass. King Jackson, pressure coming around the back, but evades a sack, throws it right side, incomplete. But a nice job by King Jackson to avoid that sack, stay in the pocket, and at least get it away.
Yeah, and I give a lot of credit to Fort Worth secondary. I mean, they absolutely blanketed everyone. Despite the extra time that his mobility in the pocket afforded him, still couldn't find a guy open.
High formation, 2 to the left. We'll put some motion in this formation. Banchagalupi goes left to right across the formation. He's the one up top. Jackson, pressure coming again. He's taken down. A blindside sack at the 28-yard line, and another one for Charbs, his 2nd of this drive. Yeah,
and sacks have been an issue here for OKC 4 times. Jackson was dropped in his last game. It's been an ongoing issue with the offensive line, just trying to make sure they pick up everybody. But also, if you're the quarterback, you got to be able to see that and get either make a move out of the pocket or get that ball away, and just not able to do so, just not enough time.
2 to the right, 1 to the left. OKC got to find it. Quick release and an interception. Back the other way. Fort Worth starting to run away with defensive plays like that. That'll work. Fort Worth has the ball in offensive territory.
And that is a direct result of the pressure from the previous play. You got to feel like the quarterback felt rushed through the ball a little bit quicker than he wanted to. Didn't see Nash just hanging out between him and the receiver. And Nash really able to pick that off really easily. I think that's just a part of the quarterback feeling that pressure, seeing those ghosts, and making a bad read.
Former SFL Defensive Player of the Season a couple seasons ago, as well as MVP Delaney Nash, with a great play to put Fort Worth in a real good spot. This will be a handoff to Jets or JZ Bacon. He'll get all the way down to the 18-yard line. 1st and 10 in the red zone for the Toros.
And now that game plan of let's pound the rock early, despite whatever success we might have, it's starting to pay off, and really you can feel all the momentum now is shifted to Fort Worth, and you can feel that Oklahoma City, they just feel like they're a broken team right now, and they're going to need to find something inside of themselves to get back into this game.
A little bit of confidence is what they need, and they're not having a lot of luck finding it right at the moment. Delayed handoff that's Jet 0. Fort Worth now just about doubling up the total yards for OKC. That'll be a couple of yards there. Nothing doing past that. 2nd and 8.
And Aaron Gooden there with a nice tackle. Look, let's not forget, this is the same OKC team that had one heck of a goal line stand just in the previous series. They've got some tremendous playmakers, specifically in their linebacker core, that we've got to watch.
Chance for Price. That one's nearly intercepted. It's knocked away. The pass deflection is a good one. Make it 3rd down and 8.
Yeah, good one for Gooden. Man, I'm telling you what, he almost made me look really good there if he would have picked that off.
3rd down. Got to get it to the 9-yard line, 9.5 or 8.5-yard line for the first. Chance for Price. Has time in the pocket. That time evaporating. Throws. End zone. It is caught. That's a touchdown. Henry McGee's 2nd all-purpose touchdown of the game.
Well, Chris, when it's going your way, it's all things just come out good. Regardless of whatever. First of all, it starts with the offensive line. What protection. Price had all day. And then not necessarily the most wide open receiver that he had. He had a couple other ones that were wide open. But when you're feeling this good and everything's going your way, you're here at home, had that home cooking, got to sleep in your own bed last night. It's just flowing all your way, and you can throw on a one-on-one, and your guy comes away with it. So McGee making some early noise in this game. Really been a difference maker to push this lead out this far, this early.
That'll work. King Jackson's 2nd interception of this ball game nets the Toros their 2nd touchdown of this, or 3rd touchdown of this football game, and that one on the short field off the turnover. Good work, as it'll give OKC a chance to return this football. Still a few minutes left in this 2nd half. They're trying to get something going. Return is a decent one, and that'll get Queen Jackson all the way to the 39-yard line. Good work there. It's been a minute. We hope you haven't forgotten. It's super simple to smash that like button and help the channel out. We just crossed the 8,500 subscriber mark. And subscribe if you haven't already, so you'll never miss a live stream, highlight, or podcast. Thanks for your support, the Virtual Football Network and the SFL. Ball in the 39 for the OKC Renegades as they get themselves back to work, trying to wrap up this first half with a positive note. 2 to the right, 2 in the backfield in the offset I formation. See if Jackson goes back to McMichaels. It's been a popular 1st down play for them. And a quick throw, but I think he got his hand knocked down as he was trying to release that. Bacigalupi, your intended target, it hits the ground incomplete.
Yeah, feeling that pressure coming on from his backside. I think that was Jeff Gagne that came around and nearly had him. And King Jackson, again, feeling rushed. Very dangerous point in this game for him.
Jackson, time evaporating, throws it again. That's a duck out of the backfield. Jackson is hit hard as he threw that football, and a 3rd down and 10 very quickly. They can ill afford a 3-and-out right now.
And you can clearly, I feel uncomfortable. I don't know about you, Chris. I feel uncomfortable. I can't imagine what he's feeling like in the pocket. He is clearly rattled right now.
I think you're right. I think he really is. It's 3rd and long. That 10 yards feels like forever right now for OKC's offense. 2 to the left, 1 to the right, 2 in the backfield. Jackson backs it up, 5-step drop, throws quickly. That's caught. Queen Jackson over the middle needed that for her quarterback, and that is a 1st and 10 for the Renegades.
Well, I think a great call there by the offensive coordinator. Let's get the ball out quicker. Let's make it, our quarterbacks, when he has to hold the ball, there's trouble. So let's get him, and let's make the Jackson connection. Let's just go ahead and get it out to one of his favorite receivers, and this is what they need. They need a little hope here.
Pitch play, left side, first run in a while, and it goes absolutely nowhere. And as that one stopped before it gets started, no yards, 2nd and 10.
and I'm not mad at that at all. Let's mix it up a little bit. One thing we can't have if you're over, you can't turn the ball over again before half. You just can't do it.
2nd and 10. Looking to get rid of it, throws up top, and it's picked off again. 3rd interception of the first half for the Fort Worth defense, and that is ideal for them as they start to put their foothold in this football game.
Oh, the commentator's curse is true, Chris. Oh, I'm so sorry I said that. But it's not even me. The players on the field are doing it, but quarterback just threw it just a little late. Just underthrew the ball just a bit. But what a tremendous interception, one-handed to really snake it away from the wide receiver. Great job by the Fort Worth defense.
Aiden Davis, I believe, his 2nd interception of this ball game. 2 in the backfield. Handoff through the middle. Fort Worth trying to utilize the run game even more. They're already a little bit into chew clock mode, I think, as JZ Bacon is going to be getting him down to the 2-minute warning.
Well, it's way too early for that. And look, one of the things I do love about OKC's offense is they're going to swing for the fences. They're not going to stop throwing the ball. They're not going to stop taking these risks. Now, whether Fort Worth is able to take advantage like they have been in the first half is going to be really maybe one of the decider if this one's gone already or not. But OKC's got a game plan in that they can swing themselves back into this.
JZ Bacon breaks a tackle, can't break 3 tackles as he's taken down after a couple of yards. Make it 3rd and 3 coming up here. Yeah, I mean, OKC can ill afford giving up more points before the end of this first half. So they really need to buckle down here and stop this drive before it gets started. Fort Worth has not hit the halftime or the midfield logo yet for this drive, and it would behoove OKC to keep them right where they are. Big 3rd down. Fort Worth trying to find themselves to the 47-yard line. Price throws. That is caught down the field into OKC territory to the 35-yard line. It's Robert Garrett Jr.
And I think that's the first time we've called the Cowboys' name in this game. And what better way than in a clutch play there as Price rolls out of the pocket, able to find his trusty tight end right down the middle of the field in between 4 defenders. How he got that open, I'll never know with that many defenders out there, but he did.
Yep, that's great work from him. Single back look, 3 to the right, 1 to the left. It's 1st and 10. That's a broken tackle. JZ Bacon gets a few more yards, gets 7 on that, and that's a timeout taken by the Fort Worth offense.
I don't know about you, Chris, but when that run started, I didn't think that he was going to gain that many yards. He actually pushes them into field goal range with that one play.
Into field goal range indeed, as they're down to the 27-yard line. Fort Worth, 2 to the right, 1 to the left. Price over the top. That one's deflected and out of the way of danger as the linebacker gets up to knock it away. 3rd and 3 coming up.
Oh, we know what the offensive coordinator for Fort Worth is thinking. It's like, we want to get in the end zone. They come out in a no-back set on 2nd down and short, and they're just committed. Looks like they're going to do it again. They're just committed to try and throw this ball.
4-3 look on defense. See what they can do. Not much time left, 52 seconds, but the clock has stopped at this point. Big 3rd down to try to extend this drive. Over the top, that one's caught. Down to the 8-yard line once more. Another timeout taken by Fort Worth. That should be, I believe, their last one. And it is going to bring us to a 1st and goal opportunity for Fort Worth.
And that connection between Price and Hacker still working, still getting the ball between the 8s. Looking so good right now, and an opportunity to really push this lead out.
See what they can do. Shotgun. Nobody in the backfield. Quick throw. It's picked off. Lots of room. Down the left sideline. No way. Is he going to bring it all the way back is the question, and he very well may. Sammy Seatbelt III gets taken down at the 20-yard line at the last possible second. What a switch in momentum for OKC's defense.
Exactly what they needed to get back into this game. I'm not exactly sure what OKC's thinking throwing the ball, but seatbelt money. I was about to say, fans, put your seatbelt on because this game's getting flipped on its head. But let's give also a huge credit to Eric Price, your quarterback, racing down to prevent the score. That could potentially pay off huge right here if OKC isn't able to convert for points.
Yeah, that's a major statement there as he's able to get all the way through and make that play. that creates a big time moment in this game as OKC could get it back down to a reasonable 14-point score. That is incomplete, looking for Bovine. Make it 2nd and 10.
And it looks, we talked about this offense. It just doesn't look right. The timing is off. Some of the chemistry is just a bit off. I'm going to give all credit, though, to the Fort Worth defense. A great game plan so far, a great effort overall. A lot of turnovers being made, a lot of pressure being made. That's tough to do.
See what they can do. Jackson throws. It's incomplete. Another great hit by the Fort Worth defenses. That's Davis again coming up to make the play.
Davis having an all-world game right now.
Yeah.
But look, those are the plays on offense that Fort Worth is making. How many times have we seen Hacker make that catch? And on the other side of the ball, the receivers aren't able to do the same because the defense is up and really making some bone-crushing hits.
2 to the right, 1 to the left. 3rd and 10. OKC trying to find something to cheer about. Jackson got to get rid of it. Throws it short and barely gets anywhere with it. That's going to be the last timeout, I believe, for Fort Worth, as they're going to get at least 3 points out of this in theory.
In their first game back in week 2 on that same type of play, we saw Bovine actually break a tackle and get into the end zone, that similar kind of play. So I'm not mad at it. Field goal attempt here.
Yeah, this should be pretty good for Judah Dorgan. Right down the middle, that one goes to make it a 24-6 ball game. Not the end of the world. They don't get as many points as they obviously would have wanted, but they'll take the 3 and get something off that turnover.
Chris, who has the biggest smile on the sidelines? It's Eric Price. Eric Price made that tackle to limit it instead of a touchdown to just 3 points. And look, as a quarterback who's thrown a lot of interceptions in this league, I know that you want to do everything you can immediately to try and correct that. He did it.
That's going to be a run back for Henry McGee. Going to try to break through. Gets all the way to the 39-yard line. He took a punt back earlier. This one nearly looked good as well.
Yeah, just firing on all cylinders. Everything is coming up, Millhouse for this team. Everything looks so good. Their special teams, their defense, their offense, everything is clicking. A bit of a stark contrast from what we saw at the beginning of this game, Chris. But as we've gone into this second quarter, it has been all Fort Worth.
Yeah, and OKC Fort Worth should just run this ball, or at the very least make it so this is a low-risk play. And it is a run right up the middle, should be 6 yards, and that should get us to the end of the first half. So how about that? Fort Worth comes back with a big-time game, searching for their first win, at least in the first half. It's an 18-point deficit as OKC gets the field goal at the end of the first half. It's 24-6. Steven, tell us about this game so far, what you've seen, what you look for.
Well, let's give the Toros their flowers, right? Because they deserve it. The passing game, check. Running game, check. Defense, check. Special teams, check. They've done it in all 3 phases of the game. They've done it. They haven't looked perfect the entire game, but for most of it so far, they have. They've looked really good. As far as OKC, I mean, they're just trying to weather the storm at the moment. And how many times, though, Chris, at halftime, something happens. A big speech, somebody's throwing a chair, somebody's doing something to get them fired up. And we see a different effort from a team after halftime. That's what you're banking on if you're a fan of the Renegades, that something happens at halftime that really clicks with us and we're able to get back in it. They certainly have shown in the recent past, they can get into a shootout. They can put points on the board, and that's what they need to do, something more than field goal. For sure.
They need something to go their way, I think. And honestly, maybe it's one play, maybe it's a series of plays, but something to string along this momentum. But their defense is on the field, at least right at the moment. They got to find a way to keep this, in range, as they will give this ball back to Fort Worth and see what they can do with that. This one will go out of the back of the end zone for the touchback. It's 1st and 10 for the Toros.
Yeah, and the way that McGee is returning kickoff, I just kick it out of the end zone every time. I mean, why even take the risk anymore? We'll just let him have it on the 20 instead of having it on the 40 or in the end zone.
Yeah, there's no reason to give this man the football at the moment. Not a single reason. This will be a split backs look for Fort Worth. See what they can do with 3 wide receivers out there. Hand off. Nothing doing. Nothing doing there. Make it 2nd and they say 9. They say he gained a yard. I beg to differ on that, but either way, a big third quarter for OKC. This becomes a pretty big 2nd down. They don't want to give Fort Worth any more advantage than they have. Through the middle. Jay-Z Bacon, not much there either. 3rd and I think they gave him a yard. 3rd and 8 coming up.
I think the best unit for OKC that has played so far in this game has got to be that linebacker core. They did a great job with the goal line stand. They've been pretty solid stuff in the middle of that offensive line to try and make those rushing lanes smaller. Whenever the one's going to the outside or there's been a pass, that's where the issues have come.
Price throws, quick grab by RGJ, gets him close to the first down, gives him the first down actually, and that'll be something to extend this drive.
That's why you got to love a veteran tight end. Like, he knows exactly where to go, where the first down marker is, and exactly how much and he needs to do, especially on one of those dig routes where it's all about timing and being in the right position, and the Cowboy in perfect position there to get the first down.
As he normally is. One of the more dependable ball catchers in the SFL. That's going to be a no-go. 2nd and 10 after the run goes nowhere.
And I think Sabo Cannon, I think he specializes in power bombs, because this is all that I've seen him do. He absolutely wants to destroy whoever has the ball, and he's done it a couple times tonight.
Feed this guy more. 2 to the right, 1 to the left, 2 in the backfield. Nickel look on defense. That's a handoff through the middle. That running play goes at least somewhere for Jay-Z Bacon and gets them to a 3rd and very manageable 3.
Now you look at this backfield for Fort Worth, and they've got 2 big running backs back there, and despite that, they do still have the speed to run to the outside, but the power to crush on the inside.
It's going to be thrown to fumble, and OKC is going to recover it. You talk about a needed play for those guys. They found it, knocking the ball out of the hands of that. I believe that was Jet Zero. It was.
Yeah, and then the big old Harrison Kilgore, the defensive tackle, able to jump on top of it. But you're exactly right, Chris. We've talked about halftime speeches, those halftime antics. Come out with a different attitude, maybe a little bit of a different game plan, and then you need a spark like this.
Here we go. OKC looks to be potentially in business here. See if they can get the offense going and get themselves back into this football game. 5 on the play clock, 2 in the backfield for the I formation. Handoff, nothing doing. That's not going to go very well, as that will be a Tom Rahman run that hits nowhere on that 2nd and 10.
Yeah, just unfortunate to run into his own block and not be able to get out of it. But look, your defense is giving you a gift. They put you in range to score even just 3 points in the field goal.
Yeah.
You got to take advantage of this.
Got to have something. Jackson throws. That's McMichaels. That is a quick little throw. We've seen that play a couple times tonight. That is a 3rd and 7 coming.
That is definitely their safety valve, right? When their other receivers aren't open, he automatically looks for number 89 to kind of bail him out, and he's done so tonight.
Yeah, he certainly has at the moment. Offset eye look, 2 to the right, 1 to the left. Jackson has to find something that works here. Got to get it downfield. Looks to throw this. It's incomplete. Knocked up in the air, and that did not go the way that Queen Jackson wanted it. And here comes the field goal unit. It should be a long field goal from here.
And you can see Queen, she was just kicking herself for not bringing that in. And again, that's been the difference maker, Chris, in this game. Those same exact plays, Fort Worth are completing with ease with Stephen Hacker.
You're right. That's exactly
Same
right.
Play. Same
45-yard attempt for Judah Dorgan. Got to try to hook this one back, and does. Finds the 3 points, 3 field goals today for Judah Dorgan, and make it a 24-9 ball game.
Yeah, that one. Boy, you talked about hooking it in. That was a little bit tighter than I would expect. But as you mentioned, that was a long field goal attempt. That wasn't a gimme.
No, it wasn't. 45 yards is definitely not a gimme, especially in the SFL. So that was a big time play for those guys. Here comes Fort Worth. Chance to add more to it. That kick goes back out of the end zone. No big deal.
Yeah, got the leg for sure.
Yep. See what they can do.
Yeah, and then
But
now you're the Renegades. You're asking for your defense to let's make another big play. You got a big fumble recovery on the last series. Let's see if we can make another play here. Either stop them or get a turnover.
I formation. 2 to the right. Handoff. Jay-Z Bacon is going to get not very far there. Make it 2nd and 8.
Yeah, both of these running backs here, back-to-back series, having some issues getting past their offensive linemen. And I've actually seen running backs get out of that animation there and get in and actually run the ball well. So it's just a matter of time.
Price backing up, throwing over the middle. That one's caught. Another great ball to the 45-yard line. And that's Stephen Hacker. First time we called his name in a bit.
Yeah, but we've called it a lot earlier in this game, and continues when you need a big play. Number 8's going to the other 8 and completing those passes. And it's just, again, Curtis, it's a difference of just making the play as opposed to not making the play, or the defense not being able to knock the ball out. There's just something special about number 88 and able to make some plays that others can't.
See what they can do. Fort Worth closer to midfield than not at this point. Handoff through the middle. That is going to be something. Make it a 2nd and 6 after a 4-yard gain. Let's see what they got.
Oh, well, on that last play there, when you're as big as Jay-Z Bacon, sometimes you got to get skinny in order to get to some of those smaller rushing lanes. They're able to do so on that play.
Off through the middle. Got a nice run there. 1st and 10. Another one for Bacon. And this comes back to our conversation earlier about wearing down the defensive line, Steven. And finally, Fort Worth able to get this done and start working the middle of the field to chew some clock.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And, where the comeback is really going to start here outside of that fumble recovery and getting those turnovers, I think it really starts in the trenches. And which one of these lines is able to win that battle up front and, fill up those rushing lanes or potentially take advantage of them.
Oh, what a hit. Jesus, that was nice.
If I did that to you on the street, I'd be in jail, Chris.
Yeah, exactly. That's called legalized assault.
But no, don't you just feel the confidence just oozing out of this Fort Worth team? And, when you're confident, you play stress-free. The total opposite of what we're seeing from Oklahoma City right now.
There's going to be a 1st down as that one gets over to Jay-Z Bacon for the run. And they're finding ways to make it hurt for OKC.
Yeah, and maybe the biggest thing that they're doing right now is running that clock. That's what these runs allow you to do. They really allow you to seep away offensive opportunities from the other team. And the way that OKC has been playing tonight, they need every opportunity they can get.
Not much there. 4 yards, though. They get something, and they continue to just wear down this defense. They get closer. They're near the red zone at this point.
Good. There's just been a great balanced offensive attack from Fort Worth. And now that you feel the game is starting to get a little bit out of hand, this running game has been really dominant.
Handoff. That's Jay-Z Bacon. Gets close. They give him the 1st down. Gets even closer. 1st and 10 for Fort Worth.
Let's run the clock 101. Run it right up to you getting a 1st down, and then you just happen to get hit there, and it just allows the clock to continue to roll.
Another one. They just continue to work their way down. Jet Zero is finding ways to get yardage.
Let's not forget. I apologize, Chris.
You're good.
The stamina hit that this defense has taken being out here for so long. You can start to see the fatigue wearing on them.
And off, left side. Nothing doing there. Finally, OKC able to stop them before they're able to get some positive yardage. 3rd and 5 coming up.
And if there's an OKC defender that's going to put a big hit on you, we've seen it tonight. Sabo is the one.
Yeah.
Sabo is out there taking heads. He doesn't care about the scoreboard. He just wants to hit somebody.
One of his favorite parts of the game right now. Eric Price looking to throw this. Got it. End zone. It's caught. That's a touchdown. Henry McGee one more time.
Third touchdown for Henry McGee. 2 by dots just like that from Eric Price in the end zone. Look, this has been the difference in this game. The ability of the quarterback to really deliver in tight windows, and the receivers that are able to come down with it despite the contact and the coverage. That's been the difference. And Henry McGee making not only the difference with his feet now, but making it through the air twice, splashes into the end zone through the air.
That'll work.
Yeah.
Put another one in the end zone. Kick is up and on the way. It is up and it is through. No issues there. And another 11-play drive for Fort Worth. And really, if you look at this game, you're going to look back on this drive and realize that this is where the blood was kind of sucked out of the Renegades, the way that that drive was played. Yeah,
absolutely. And they didn't really change anything. You know, from the first quarter to now, they've still been committed to the run. They've just had more success. They've been throwing the ball, been very successful throwing the ball. That still continues. And then you throw in a return in the special teams. It's just everything's going your way. And as Ron Haynes said in our chat here, ouch. And it's exactly ouch. Yes, you're absolutely right. This is a tough one. And let me throw this out to you. This might not only be, Chris, the change in the game that we're seeing, kind of the back broken here by OKC. I think it is a realization a little bit that this is Fort Worth team is 0-2. They needed this. They needed a win like this. And this is a statement game for them. And boy, are they making a statement right now.
And when they, like you said, they needed it. And to get themselves back gives them some confidence going into later weeks. That's going to be a run forward that'll get them 5 yards. I'm not sure why OKC is still running at this point, but I mean, they do what they can, I guess.
Well, look, I think when you throw that many interceptions, maybe you're a little bit worried about that a little bit more. But I don't begrudge them that. They're still learning their offense, kind of feeling it out after kind of being so pass heavy. They know they need to get the run involved. This might not have been the game to do it, but they're doing what they can here.
And there's going to be a rush that goes basically nowhere. 3rd and 5 coming up. It's at least something it's manageable at this point. We'll see what they can do.
Right, we talked about them being the top passing yards, at least leading the team in passing yards. King Jackson leading the league in touchdowns with 5. This is the team that can pass. So this is where you make your money right here.
Got to make it happen. It'll be a rollout for Jackson. Throws, looking for the first down, doesn't get it. 4th and 1, had Bovine, but he couldn't quite turn the corner and get the first.
Oh, let's see. And look, I think you got to go for it, Chris. I think you go for it on 4th and 1 here. I mean, in that position, and they're not going to do it.
They're not going to. And I can understand the decision not to. It's only the 3rd quarter in that, but I don't necessarily like it.
Yeah, if they were on the other side of the field, I think that they probably would have done it. But as I said, they're still in their own territory, and they don't want to make things any worse.
Okay, so could have been worse. So ball on the 31, Fort Worth has a chance to really put this one away.
There's still a lot of time in this game for something to happen. You know, it's just the urgency as the time goes is going to get higher and higher and higher as Fort Worth continues to put points on the board and continue to move the ball flawlessly through the air, on the ground, on special teams. Like, you know, you're going to need to come up with a big play like we saw earlier to start the second half with that fumble recovery.
Here comes Fort Worth. Got to find some way to make it happen. If you're OKC, get this ball back, and that is going to be a catch. Wow. Stephen Hacker with an acrobatic catch. That was ridiculous from him.
I mean, he's just playing with his food right now. Like, it's just not even, is it even hard for him? It looks that's top 10 Sports Center every day of the week. That is incredible. And he's making it look so ho-hum. And the contrast between what he's able to do and what OKC is not able to do the passing game is such a stark contrast. It's ridiculous.
Handoff. That is a nice run. That's Jay-Z Bacon one more time. That was really, really nice to see. And it is 1st down and 10.
it just isn't fair, right? I mean, it just isn't fair. It just feels like everybody's feeling it right now. That was one Stephen Hacker block away from being a touchdown. And that was not necessarily because the scheme was great or the blocking was super great. It was because of the individual effort. Again, we're seeing from Bacon, the spin move, the breaking of tackles, the bust, using the power and the speed combination.
And it's going to be another run forward for Fort Worth. And this is just more consistent run game from them. It's been fun to see them find their groove, and they're really finding it against this OKC defense, just chewing this clock away as we get to the end of the third. That's 3 quarters in the books already, as Fort Worth trying to put this game away 31-9 over the OKC Renegades. Chris Curtis, Stephen Mullinex on the field with you tonight as the week 4 of the SFL's regular season schedule is in tow. First night of action tonight. See if the Renegades have something to say about this, how this game is going to finish up. But right now, Fort Worth is dragging defenders there as JZ Bacon, 3rd and 2.
You know what, Chris? I'm tired of talking about this Fort Worth offense. I've talked about them enough. I think one of the bigger difference makers that I've seen in this game, Fort Worth's defense, particularly their cornerbacks, have been tremendous tonight. Gordon, Lee, Davis, absolutely lights out, outstanding. And the pressure up front, guys like Gond, Luther, and Jerry Dean, and Jeff Gagne, and Hendrick Callahan, these guys have been putting constant pressure on King Jackson tonight, and that has made all the difference to me. In this game, for me, really, what's going on in the trenches really have defined this game. With all the spectacular catches and all the great runs, it's really that inside game of the trenches that really help determine things.
Yeah, it's been fun to see when Fort Worth has been on their game, and defensively is really where they've shined. They've had some good offensive players. Talk about Henry McGee. He has 3 all-purpose touchdowns, 2 in the receiving game and 1 in the punt return game. But it's been a constant flurry of contributions from everybody on the Fort Worth roster, and they really haven't shown a weak spot tonight.
No, and let's give a lot of credit to Eric Price. Price has been near perfect tonight, and you know, we talk about these amazing catches and these runs, but he's been throwing the ball immaculately and staying away from those. You know, they did have that near pick 6 interception, but what did he do? He ran the guy down before he could get in the end zone, and the defense was able to hold him to 3. I mean, I think Price has had a terrific game tonight.
Yeah, he didn't start out great, but he's definitely turned it on since, started the second quarter. I think is really when things started to turn up for him. So very good work as we have a 3rd and 1 and a first down. That is a jet zero run that ended up exactly where they needed it to be, and it is a 1st and 10.
Hey, what I love Jet Zero. I've loved him for a long time. Actually, as the former GM over in DC, tried to get him over there a lot when he was back with Queen City. I think he's one of the legacy players in the thing. So I've always loved him. And I don't think this combination of Bacon and Jet Zero has been everything they've wanted it to be. But tonight, I think we're starting to show a glimpse of how they could dominate together.
They really can. I've seen that I've seen glimpses of them individually, and the two of them together should be better than it's been. And I think Fort Worth may have been able to find the secret sauce to get them unlocked, so to speak. 2nd and 11. See what the Toros can do as they are at the 15-yard line. Another one that becomes a big moment. This will be a handoff. JZ Bacon has some room to the 5-yard line, to the 3. It's 1st and goal.
They talk about players who have noses for the end zone. We can just feel that from Bacon there. He could just smell that end zone grass, right? He wanted it so bad. Broke 2 tackles, couldn't break the 3rd. But man, you could just feel that from him, that momentum of, I've got to get through. I've got to get there. I've got to get there. And he's just one of those guys that just has a knack for it.
He's a fun guy to watch play. When things are going right for JZ Bacon, he is very fun to watch play. As that one's going to be 2nd and goal, as Zero not able to get through the first layer on that play. 2nd and goal, OKC looking for another goal line stand to try to keep themselves in contention for this football game. Let's see. Bacon, touchdown. Got it. and that is going to make it a lopsided score, I think is what you can say. Good work again from Fort Worth.
Yeah, that's one of the easiest scores I've ever seen here in the SFL. When your blocker in front of you doesn't have any to block, the other blocker doesn't have anyone to block, and your running back goes in untouched. I mean, it's almost as the defense was totally unprepared for you to go to that side of the field, and clearly they were. So great job by the offensive coordinator, great play call, and everything. Again, it's just flowing Fort Worth's way. And now if you're OKC, you've just got to try to find, you've got to dig through the coal to find some diamonds that's remaining in this game that you can build upon and maybe give your fan base a little hope for next game.
Yeah, find something. That's going to be the goal. Renegades are going to be digging their way through film to try to find some positives out of this, but that's on Fort Worth. Fort Worth not giving them a lot to cheer about on the OKC side of things, as the Renegades will get this ball back here in fairly short order. At the 5-yard line, return to the 20, to the 25, the 26-yard line all told is where they will end up from there. So good stuff, real good stuff.
Well, Jay-Z Bacon coming in with about 140 yards on the ground so far. Look at the difference in that stat, Chris. Over 200 yards difference in rushing yards alone. I mean, is it any wonder why the game is so lopsided right now?
Yeah, exactly. And it's been ground domination from Fort Worth. Just not even just the run game, but the lines have played well, defensive and offensive line. And I mean, OKC really hasn't had a lot of options on either side of the ball. This is going to be a throw that goes short. It's Bacigalupi trying to turn the corner. Does get the first down and more down the right sideline, and eventually steps out of bounds. That's a nice little play. That's a positive play for OKC's offense.
Yeah, it kind of makes you wonder why they haven't gotten the ball to him a little bit more. But initially, I didn't think that play was going to work out. But all of a sudden, people started falling, and then he had a whole trailer line of blockers in front of him. Yeah. And it really made something that maybe should have been just a very small game into something substantial.
Yeah, that was a fun watch, that particular play from Bacigalupi. You see if he can get the ball into his hands a little bit more here. This will be a handoff instead. That's a decent run forward, albeit not great for Richard Powers, but it's something. And it is a 2nd and 5.
Well, I know a lot of people are wondering why are they still running in this game, but I give them a lot of credit to coaching staff. They knew they needed to be a bit more balanced on offense. They committed to doing that in this game. And look, we saw a lot of turnovers in the passing game.
It's going to be an incomplete pass going along the right side, but there is a flag, and they're going to call it DPI. So that'll put the ball at the spot of the foul at the very least. It's something they can work with. 1st and 10 for the Renegades.
Yeah, and the first hurdle for the Renegades, they've got to find a way to get in the end zone. They've just got to get in the end zone here, as Fort Worth's defenders a little overzealous there and on that defense on their side. But again, this game, the way that the score is, you're not going to discredit the defense too much there. But again, a glimmer of hope here for Oklahoma City. They need to get in this end zone.
See what they can do. And Jackson dumps it outside. Wow. That's a decent little play, 3 yards. Not a lot there, but they'll take it.
Yeah, almost like flicking it looked like to the tight end, Kilgore there. But if you saw on the other side of the field, I swore I saw a receiver running wide open without anybody covering him. And that's just been kind of the case tonight, right? There might have been some players that were open, but the pressure has been so much of the quarterback, he's just had to get rid of it at times.
And Jackson going to move the fullback into motion here. Handoff, and not a lot there. Runs into his blockers. They're going to give him a couple yards. Make it 3rd and 5, coming up. It's at least doable.
Yeah, and look, they've got clearly, the coaching staff's got some things to work out. They've got, new members on their team from their off season. They've got to learn them, what their strengths and weaknesses are, and this is all part of it.
Throw right side. That one's caught down to the 20-yard line. OKC starting to put some inroads together here towards putting a drive together. They needed that. 1st and 10. Chance, right side, it's picked off. And how about this? Back the other way, and he is gone. How about it for a pick 6? Tavius Gordon has just put an exclamation point on this football game.
Yeah, unbelievable job. And Gordon out in the crowd now celebrating what has been a terrific night for Fort Worth. And it's just these cornerbacks have been playing out of their mind tonight on another level. Look, This is a team that was reeling 0-2. There were questions. It's Fort Worth. What's wrong with Fort Worth? You know, they haven't had a losing season, I think, in the last 6 seasons, Chris. So
you're right.
So seriously, right? They're not used to facing 0-3, right? You know, and they didn't want that tonight. They came in with a mindset, particularly these corners, that they were going to do everything in their power to get them this win tonight, and they have.
They've done everything they possibly can. It's been fun to watch from a Fort Worth fan perspective, and not so much from an OKC fan perspective, but there will be better days either way. Good work from Fort Worth as they add another exclamation point onto this win. 400 almost total yards of offense for Fort Worth, and not to mention the defense has played outstanding as well.
Well, you know, anyone who's been watching Fort Worth here for the last couple of seasons know that losing their first 2 out of 3 is not unusual necessarily for Fort Worth. They did the same thing last season and still finished with a 7-5 record.
Down the sideline, out of bounds at the 46-yard line. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying that, you know, although they started 0-2, they were 1-2 in the first 3 games last season.
Yeah. Still
ended up with a 7-5 record and making the playoffs. So, you know, that's not necessarily unheard of for them. But man, I tell you, you just don't want to go 0-3, and especially here at home, because it's a team that you think it's a pretty winnable game for you. And boy, they really smashed it out of the park here.
Yeah, they did. This was a team effort all told. Great game plan by the coaches all the way through. Just a lot of fun to watch. 4:13 to go in it. OKC has the football back. 1st and 10 as they have some good field position to work with. Throw right side, and that one was in quad coverage, but still nearly ended up with a catch, and that will fall incomplete.
Yeah, we've seen them go to that play a few times, and they've been successful once, but a lot of times when you've got a play that you love, but it puts 4 defenders out against your 1 receiver,
yeah,
the odds are not stacked in your favor.
To say the least, exactly. Under center, I formation. Jackson throws, it's picked off. And how about another one? Back the other way. It's a 2nd straight pick 6. This one for Adam Leach. He will find the end zone, and this game is well and truly over.
I mean, Chris, this is going to give SFL quarterbacks nightmares as they try to prepare for this team. Like, okay, Gordon, Leach, Davis, all of them have gone off in this game. I don't know how you go to the outside. Honestly, I think, you know, I need to go towards Delaney Nash, the former MVP. I might have a better chance at passing against him than these guys on the outside. I mean, just tremendous play by them, and just a nightmare situation for King Jackson. But if you know the guy, you know that he's got this, you know, just next play mentality. He's not worried about the turnovers. He's just trying to get his team a win any way that he can. But boy, this is one that's going to be hard to shake off in the stat sheet for sure.
Both teams are headed to a bye week after this, so it looks like the Renegades will be licking their wounds quite a bit, but the Toros be celebrating for sure as they prepare on their side. It's going to be an opposites week for both these teams, as OKC is going to get back this football. But you know, for a team that came in only giving up 1 turnover this season, unfortunately, it has gone definitely the other way for OKC.
Yeah, and boy, a 50 burger, that's tough, man.
Yeah,
that is rough. And these 2 teams will go into their bye week, one of our 3 bye weeks, right? They're going to go into the bye week in totally different mindsets. If you're Fort Worth, you're thinking we should do this every game. This is the way we should have been playing this all along. Let's not change a thing. I don't even change anything in the game plan after this game. But it's for OKC. You're gonna have to find something in the game plan to utilize all of these weapons that you have in a different way. I think there are guys that are literally running wide open, but for some reason, because I think mainly it's because of the pressure.
Oh, another one. Oh, no. It's another one. That's another pick 6. 3 straight drives for a pick 6. It's Tavius Gordon again, and I'm pretty sure you got to go well back into SFL lore to find the last time that's happened on 3 consecutive drives.
Yeah, and 2 pick sixes by the same dude. I can't.
Yeah.
This is what's happening. Look, Fort Worth, do you not care about this other team? This other team has mothers and sisters and fathers.
This
They're
other team had a
embarrassing their families at this point. Let's not. Can we just call off the dog? Somebody call Stephen Hacker, threaten his mustache, whatever you've got to do. They've got to shut this down. This is applauded right now.
Gotta let it go. Well, what a game plan. Either way you slice it from Fort Worth as they continue to make it happen.
Yeah, this is if I was at Fort Worth, for my bye week, I'd watch this every day. It would just make me happy every day to watch this game.
I like it. It'll be a run back for Jackson, breaking another tackle, getting to about the 29-yard line. That's at least something to work with. Good return.
Yeah, and it's good to see. Like you can players get down so easily in a game like this. It's so easy to give up. You like to see that continued effort. And look, oftentimes in these kind of games, you want to see something in garbage time from this team. You want to see, and they're trying. They're really pressing, and you can see they're trying to do it. And just, oh man, these interceptions, these defenders are playing out of this world right now.
That is a throw and a catch that's Rahman, the running back, who makes that catch out of the backfield, and that will make it a second down and 10.
Yeah, and so here we are. I mean, I don't think you change anything. I think you still continue to try to throw this ball, try to get in the end zone. Just try to have some kind of positivity through all of this really muck here in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, that's what a lot of it is. Got to go to the outside here, get a catch, but not a lot out of the backfield. Okay. Third down. Throw over the middle, or right side, I should say. That's incomplete. So nothing doing, but no interception at the very least. They'll punt this one away, in theory.
Hey, Chris, tell me if I'm wrong. It just feels like every time, especially on third downs, every time they want to go to their receiver for a big play, they're just surrounded by blue jerseys. It's as if 3 people are covering or 4 people are covering that receiver, what's going on the rest of the field? Are there people like running wide open? Like, where are all these defenders, and why are they in that spot?
It's a good question. You feel like that's a duck. As he gets hit as he threw the football. It's a good question because you feel like there should be more there, but there are more options, more reads, and the wrong read is just is the one that's being consistently made.
Oh, and I think also as a quarterback, we have the tendency to really focus on our favorites in those moments. Guys that we know that have come through for us in the past, that we've relied on. So you can get ultra focused. For instance, I think Price has been really focused on 88 a lot in this game, although we haven't called his name out so much in the second quarter. It's been about Henry McGee a little bit more. But I think you can get really ultra focused on someone, and I think plays can get ultra focused as well. Whereas despite other people running wide open, when a certain play is called, it has just a tendency to go to this one spot. And it's almost put in the playbook and designed to go to that one spot, regardless of what's going on in other places of the field.
With 3 minutes left in this one, Fort Worth's going to try to chew down this clock as much as they possibly can and not really let it get back to OKC, if at all possible, as they try to finish up. 400 yards of offense. Their defense is accounted for 21 points of their 59, and almost had more than that. It's been a good day to be a Fort Worth Toro on offense and defense and special teams for that matter.
One of the best days that I've ever seen them play, and that's saying a lot from a team that hasn't posted a losing record in 6 seasons. That's a lot to say. It was just an absolute everything working type situation. This is what you dream about. This is why you spend all that time simulating games and getting prepared in the playbooks and building your roster for games like this. And it's just and it's great when it happens in your house, because then it feels like a hometown celebration for everybody and a gift to your fans, right?
2-minute warning. Just about done here in Fort Worth. We've seen dominant performances from Fort Worth. The game where they won, I believe it was 48-0 over Carolina, comes to mind from a couple seasons ago. But this is where they're doing it against all facets. It's been the offense, special teams, and defense that have
Yeah.
both really come to roost in this game.
Let's talk about this, Chris. This is something we don't, an aspect we don't often, or I haven't ever often thought about or even talked about much. But the league, and particularly, Commissioner Cameron Irvine, is going to have to open up that wallet after this game, because not only is Fort Worth going to come with a great win and have a lot of stats, not padded, well earned, but big stats coming out of this game, they're going to have a lot of incentives, I imagine, after this, and an opportunity to really progress their team for just an outstanding performance and be even better after the bye week.
Well, and that makes a difference too, because I mean, a game like this can really help prepare you for something in the future as well. You get those attributes, you can build up your team, you can progress, and really give your team a boost going into those harder games coming on later on in the season. So yeah, you're exactly right. This becomes an incentive-laden game and a pretty lucrative game all told for the Fort Worth Toros.
Yeah, and for a lot of star players, just giving them opportunities to get even better. Oh, what a hit.
Yep, that is a jet zero run, and he breaks through a tackle pretty alertly. 3rd and 2 coming up.
Yeah, you think he wants to get in the end zone? Maybe he's thinking about that incentive package as well. Yeah, I mean, despite this game, being in the bag here, putting 60 on a team here in the SFL, it's really impressive, and it's going to do wonders for you. Just people, what they think about you outside of your team. Nobody's going to be talking about them being, 0-2 anymore. They're going to look at this score and they're going to be like, that was impressive, regardless, no matter who the opponent is.
Yeah,
like if you can put up that many points, at a certain point, that doesn't matter. It's just that everything's clicking and working, and then you throw in a bunch of incentives on top of it. Good Lord, I don't know if I'm glad we don't face. I'm glad my team didn't face this team. Let me just say that.
Yeah, no kidding. I'm glad my team didn't either. So this is a Fort Worth. Well, they're going to put 60 up. This is a kick from Peaches. It is good, and make it a 62-9 ball game with 1:37 to go. OKC is going to get this ball back and see what they decide to do with it, if they want to be aggressive or not. But what a show, especially in the second half from Fort Worth. This game was, if I'm not mistaken, this game was 10-3 going into the halftime break. Am I right about that?
I think so, yeah.
So a crazy 52-point second half for Fort Worth, if I'm not mistaken. And I'm sure they'll correct me if I'm chatting if I'm wrong. Correct me in chat if I'm wrong, either way.
Or the stats truck, one of the two. They're going to correct it. I mean, I specifically remember talking about Fort Worth having just a tremendous second quarter. So I think it was more than that. But look, nothing early in the game, nothing in the second quarter pointed us to 62-9. And 0 pointed us to that.
Yeah, it's been a lot.
Yeah.
Okay, so you'll go back to the drawing board. It's it's not the end of their season. Still a lot of football left this season for the Renegades. But I have a feeling they'll be talking about this one on Monday night. No doubt. 2 yards there. They continue to move the clock forward. OKC has used all their timeouts at this point. Again, another one. And it's a quick throw to the outside. They continue to move no huddle, 3rd and 3.
And our producer just came across and asked, is this game still going? Yeah. And I actually got a question for you. Has the team ever scored 60 plus in a game in the 2K4 era?
Yes, they have. It was in the convention, first convention in Cincinnati with the 2K4 game.
Okay.
Yep. And it was that was the first one, and then there's been a few that have been scattered throughout. But we've not seen one recently. Not seen one this lopsided recently.
Apparently, Minnesota scored 69.
That is correct. It was a real nice game. Oh, that's picked off.
Oh,
another one.
Okay.
Back the other way. It's another one for Tavius Gordon. He has 3 interceptions in the 4th quarter alone against this OKC offense. 2 of them he brought back to the house. That one he's got there. It's on the sideline.
Chris, that might be the best play we've seen all night. That was incredible. I've never seen that. A defender get hit in the back with the ball. The ball pops up off of his back, and he's able to turn around 180 and grab it out of the air. I have never seen that in real life or in this game. That is incredible.
And here's the kneel downs. A merciful showing by Fort Worth. with a 62-9 ball game. They'll have to kneel it one more time. But that is going to do it here from Fort Worth. What a win. Couple of bye weeks for each of these teams next, and Fort Worth and OKC need it for very different reasons. But what a game.
Chris, yeah, and look, I think we're going to come away this game sounding like Fort Worth fanboys. I don't know how you can't after this kind of performance. Let me just point out a couple things for OKC.
Sure.
I think Sabo Kanan had a terrific game. He was making some outstanding tackles. Sammy Seatbelt nearly taking one to the house. His number got called up a couple of times. Aaron Gooden as well. Got to give them a lot of credit. Bachi Kalupi had some good plays on offense. Kilgore, Tiberius Bovine at one point looked like he was going to take this game over. Just couldn't quite, And McMichaels has been the sure security blanket for King Jackson, as he's been all season. They just couldn't meet the rising tide and the ultimate tsunami that was Fort Worth in this game.
Yeah, what a win. What a win for Fort Worth. They get the job done with reckless abandon. 62-9, your final score from Texas. And that's a fun way to end it. Steven, your final words and thoughts from a very lopsided game, but a fun one, no doubt.
Yeah, I want to check Scoregami. Is this 62-9 something that we've seen before? That's a question that I have. Look, it's for Fort Worth, it's validation. We're 0-2 coming into this game. There were a lot of questions about your team. If you're the same team that you have been in the past, I think this proves a lot of your doubters wrong. I think you're going to get a lot of people that jump on this Fort Worth train now, as they well should after that kind of score, regardless of the opponent. And if you're Oklahoma City, it's back to the drawing board a bit. They've got a bit of a diminished roster. They know that they had the same issue last season. I think they've got to find their answer in the playbook, and they've got to try some things, test some things. And, we see that continued test tonight with them trying some things in the rushing game that didn't quite work, but they need to continue to poke and prod and try to find what works best for the talent that they have.
A lot of football left in this 25th regular season for the SFL. OKC can definitely still come back and make waves this season. That being said, that is it, and that's all for Stephen Molinex. I'm Chris Curtis, and for everybody here at the SFL, we say goodbye and good night. It's been a presentation of the Virtual Football Network. For more, log on to simfl.net. Have a good night, everybody.